I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, with that, I'd like to turn the stage over to Mr. Victor Manuel, who's going to present the fourth and final budget workshop this evening.
Thank you, Chris. I know it's upsetting, it's the last one, but try to bear with us. Yes, this is the budget review meeting. It kind of brings together all of the slides and presentations we spoke about in the three previous meetings into summary form. So we'll start with the tax cap, we'll go to the budget summary, and then we'll go to each of the buildings, talking about the wonderful things going on in their buildings, and of course, music and fine arts as well. And then after this, next week, at the Board of Education meeting, will be the meeting where the board adopts the budget. Tax levy threshold, I'm going to skip this slide because I have the actual calculation listed here. So with every year, you start off with the prior tax levy that you see at the top right there, 115 point, almost 0.5 million. The tax base growth factor is the 1.0063%. Gets added on at that point. Current year payment for the payments in lieu of taxes gets added in at this point, and then we back out the capital exclusion from last year, and you end up with an adjusted prior year levy of 119.5, at which point you add the 2%, which is the lower of CPI or 2%, and then you back out what you're expecting in pilots the following year, and you add back in the exclusions to give you a grand total of 118,860, and we're proposing pretty much right near that.
How do you calculate the 1147219 and the 4616572?
I'm sorry, the first number first?
I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong numbers, but the capital tax levy that's.
Yeah, so the capital exclusion, the top number is always the bottom number from last year, so that just rolls up. This way there is not any inconsistencies with what you're putting in the exclusion. The exclusion for all districts would include any long-term principal and interest, which we don't have. Will include what you anticipate spending in capital expenditures for the upcoming year that are funded out of the general fund. And I say that specifically because it does not count any capital expenditures if you use capital reserves for it. Okay? So the $1,275,000 that we budget every year, some years you're going to spend $900,000, some years you're going to spend $1.4 million, but it's always around that 1.3 average year over year. So that's a piece of it. Another piece of it is the purchase of school buses. It's the purchase of school buses. So that's also an exclusion that comes out of the capital. So the capital exclusion went up about $200,000, as did the purchases of school buses, and the proposed budget went up $200,000. So after that, you back out then proposed building aid, which we take right out of the governor's proposal for our estimated building aid for next year. We also take out
This is
estimate.
not a number you can just look at your past budget presentations and come up with the exact number.
No.
You'll see the 1275 that we have, I think it is this year for CapEx,
Yep.
out of operating capital.
Yep.
You probably can find out where we're buying a bus, but then there's other things you're not going to find.
Not specifically, no, but yeah, there's a lot of parts to the capital exclusion. The only pieces that don't, like,
All of these were never well known, but these are numbers that are going.
we got audited last year by the OSC, by the controller's office.
So what we were doing for this number specifically?
Correct.
Okay.
And they said everything looked good.
Okay.
All right? And they usually do that every 2, 3, 4 years. So last summer, they audited the one I presented last year. All right? Any other questions on it? Moving on to the budget summary. So the top half are the expenditures. That brings together all of the slides we talked about over the last 3 presentations. And I think I mentioned last week that the overall budget increase is 2.88%. And then we look at the revenues. We are anticipating some additional revenues in state aid. So Sam, just a piece of that, where you see the pilots, the LIPA pilot and the pilot's other,
Yep.
that does back into the pilot number that you see.
Yeah, no,
On-
I don't want
okay.
to tie back.
Okay.
Good there.
Yeah, other than state aid, all the other revenues, I mean, the pilots went up a little bit, but that was also reflected in the tax cap. Everything else pretty much stable. And we're looking at tax levy increase of 2.94, just a few dollars less than the
Two
cap.
questions.
Sure.
One, for the interest line.
Yep.
For both the budget for this year and the budget for next year, relative to 23-24, was there a decrease in cash, or this is purely interest rate?
Purely interest rate driven. Last year, the rates were probably at its peak. This year,
2 years ago. 23-24.
23, 24.
Oh, okay, yeah, not
Yeah.
this year, I got
Yeah,
it. I was-
interest that we earned last year was probably at its peak. We're not gonna hit 3.5 million this year, it'll definitely be less than that.
Yeah, but we're gonna hit north of 2, it looks like, based on.
I think we will, probably 2.5, I would estimate at this
Yeah.
point. And I am fearful the rates will continue to
Stay strong.
decrease.
They're not decreasing, staying strong. So, yeah, so a lot of districts had either flat or decreased state aid, certainly the ones who live in our zip code in terms of financial strength. What would we have done if, go ahead,
Good.
do you disagree with that premise, that a bunch of,
I was very pleasantly surprised when I saw the governor's proposal.
that's all I was getting at. What would, I mean, granted, we're basically at our tax cap. If we hadn't gotten that $500,000 increase, $500,000 increase, where would we have, do you think, made an adjustment to our budget, or you would have said, we must bust the cap, which I doubt you would have said. So where would
I
you-
don't think for 500,000, I would have said we have to bust
Right,
the
so
cap.
where would
I
you
think
have-
another saving grace this year, and I think it's important to point out, was that health insurance rates stayed pretty stable.
Sure.
I was much more worried about that than anything else at that point. We would probably, we'd have to look at it out of a whole bunch of things. I don't want to say what I would cut at this point.
Not cut, just sort of,
Would have to be blended.
It's not something I would be able to just finesse and reduce the surplus, and I'd be comfortable with that. I wouldn't be comfortable with that,
okay.
if that's what you're asking.
Yeah, no, I don't know if there's something at the top of your head, you're like, yeah, this was bonus, because we found $500,000, or we were given $500,000 extra dollars, so we made sure to increase the size of this program, or.
No, so
something like
if you look down below at the appropriated fund balance,
that.
and we have this discussion every year, when you look at what we underexpend in the budget, everyone thinks that's a surplus, but that's not necessarily the surplus. Right off the bat, we're using $5.5 million of appropriated fund balance from the prior year for this year's budget. So we need to be underexpended by at least $5.5 million in order just to break even. Okay?
Along those lines, can you just, given our cutoff, can you just tell us what each of those 5 lines are, at the end, the balances? Like, the first one I know is just a big appropriated fund balance.
Yep.
What are the other reserves, what are the 4 reserves in order?
The second one appropriated from, that is the Employees Retirement System, the ERS. We probably have about 14 million in there, roughly, and I'm giving approximates.
I just want to know what the titles are, I have those numbers.
The third one is the Teachers' Retirement, which is the sub-fund for the ERS. We don't have significant dollars in there. The fourth one is the EBLR, Employees Benefit Accrued Liability. That is what is used to pay out retirees. And the last one is a capital reserve. Jill, do you have a question?
It doesn't actually fit into this formula of the question, but since the governor proposed free breakfast and free lunch, will that affect us?
It doesn't affect us here. It will affect the school lunch fund program, and we still do not have specifics on what that would look like. I'm not,
But that could help, that could benefit us?
it'll certainly benefit the community if it's free lunch.
Oh, right.
I just don't know, at this point, we get $3.15 from the parent and a subsidy from the state. I don't know if the full subsidy will equal those two numbers together at this point. I'm not 100% sure.
It's actually may affect lunch purchases,
It may,
increase lunch.
it'll increase lunch purposes. The parents will certainly be thrilled about that piece. I'm not sure yet if it's good or bad for the district school lunch fund at this point.
And remind me, I said over the, we have, what available for current capital reserve to add to this year? What's available, what's the maximum we'd be able to contribute to? I know we're not gonna contribute the maximum, what would be, if we somehow
I
found.
think 9 million,
Okay, so we're not gonna be able to contribute that this year, probably.
no,
Probably.
I would guess not. Last year, I think we did 5 or 6.
On top of putting back the appropriate fund balance.
We put the appropriate fund balance back, but we didn't add to it.
No, I know
So
you
it
didn't answer,
was
but
a flat
we had
number.
that 5.4
Yes.
million, plus we had another 5, or whatever you said, 5 million to put in.
Yes, which is on a $140 million budget. 5 million by itself sounds like a lot, but on a $140 million budget, it's not a significant amount.
So with 10 million.
10 million's getting there. I'd be more comfortable with that.
We have it, so.
I know that the 5 million is accounted for.
Yes.
It's only 5 extra.
Correct. The actual surplus was about 5, 6, something like that last
After
year.
you put back the appropriate fund balance.
Yes, but that stayed flat. It wasn't beat.
No, I understand,
Okay.
but that's our savings,
Yes,
so we didn't tap into our savings.
the board did a great job.
You did a great job.
Any other questions on this? Go ahead. No? Okay. These I'm gonna kind of go through pretty quickly because it'll be the fourth time you're hearing it. But again, this building will be pretty much off limits this summer as we do the permanent resolution for the sub-basement and the electrical panels down there. Renovation of the Jackson Auditorium, district-wide bathroom renovations, window replacements at Kaniag in this building, and some exterior doors. So that'll be a lot of the summer work taking place this coming summer. And looking at the projects that we're proposing in the Proposition 2 for this year, continuing window replacements, gymnasium floor refurbishment in Kaniak. Again, the floor cannot be sanded anymore, so we'll need a full replacement. Chimney reconstruction, you'll see that repeated at the other two elementary schools as well. Looking at Williams, that was a structural issue we had at the auditorium and gymnasium walls, so we'll be looking to do that this summer as well. And window replacement phase 3 at this building, which will give you a grand total of just under 7.4 million, and 1,275,000 is out of the budget, and 6.1 million will come out of the capital reserve, which we have about 6.5 million in currently, so that'll cover it. That'll be the actual verbiage that you'll see on the ballot, along with the budget, along with the library, and along with any candidates from the school district and the library. I think the library only has one also.
Are they presenting next week, or
It's going to be on the agenda for approval. We should have it by next week. I think they meet with their own board, and
No, I know, but.
Yeah. It'll be on the agenda for the district to, while you're approving it, not really approving it, you're just approving it so it shows up on the ballot.
Yeah, we'll be back. It all runs through us.
It was through us,
So.
but we have nothing to do with it.
For
Except
the
that,
fact that we're liable for it.
okay, sure.
Well, I mean, I think we are, that's my understanding.
We're not liable for their budget.
Yeah.
All right, so now I'm going to start turning it,
Before you get to that,
Go ahead.
I just wanted, on the, this is what you told me, when I look at what comes out in our monthly packages, and we have
Yes.
expenses, we have the adjusted budget, we have expense, encumbered, and available. Available would represent what we are currently running under budget at this point.
correct, but don't forget, there's still a lot of purchase orders that haven't been placed yet in a lot of areas. The adjusted budget, just so you know, is the encumbrance column you see there at June 30th last year gets rolled forward. So if there are purchase orders still outstanding from the prior year, that's what shows up in the adjustment column.
So the adjustment has nothing to do with changing of expectations.
Correct.
It purely has to do with purchase orders that
Right.
weren't fulfilled at June 30th the prior year.
Correct. So any budget,
Adjusted budget will always be higher than original budget?
yes, because you'll always have purchase orders that have not been satisfied at the end of any particular year. If you notice, whenever you see the budget transfers on the board agenda, it's always the same amount going out of one code and going into another code. So all of those budget transfers keep it a wash, and the number that you see there are encumbrances from the prior year. The only difference would be is if we get a donation where I increase the appropriation at the same time.
Okay.
All right.
Well, it's still increased, oh, I see, increase the appropriation, got it. So as you mentioned about transfers, the email I sent you earlier in the week about the 1,000 and 9,000, you said that if I look at what's in the board packet every month, that's gonna be the 1,000 and 9,000 are gonna be the two groups up here for general support and for undistributed.
Oh, yes,
And where do I find the transfers? Or are those not gonna be in any of these presentations? Are those transfers are just purely between?
you're not gonna see that, because we're looking at next year's budget for the most part. You're not gonna see it in there, because the only time you see it is in that adjustment column on the appropriation status report. So you see it coming out of one code and going into another
So
code.
those adjustments are little transfers, you're saying?
The initial adjustment amount gets rolled over from the prior year's purchase orders that are still outstanding.
Right.
And then throughout the year, if we need money from one code to another, that's a wash. So you're not adding to the adjustment, but you'll see one code go down and another code go up.
And that would only be between the 1,000 and the 9,000?
No, that'll be between any code. Budget transfers. That could be between any
Okay, I
code.
thought you said when I look at this sheet from the board packet, not the budget, that you said the 1,000 and 9,000 will be accurate, will reflect what's in this budget here, well, not that sheet, but the budget, except for transfers. You're saying there's transfers in every group, not just 1,000 and 9,000?
I'm not
Don't worry
sure
about it.
what I meant by transfers. I think,
I don't know either.
no, I know what I meant. It was the transfer to the capital fund, the 1,275,000.
Oh, that was-
So
Okay,
if I go back to here, if you look at the top right, the 14.4, that's all the 1,000 codes except for the transfer to capital line. That's on a separate line. You see it's the second line?
yeah,
So, but it's included in the 1,000 codes when you look at the presentations.
got it.
That's why I was saying,
And 9,000, you also said 9,000 would be.
so in the 9,000 codes, the undistributed, there is, the code is 9950, transfer to capital. When I used to put it in that and showed it on the presentation, it made more sense to put it with the buildings and grounds codes, because that's what we're talking about now.
Okay,
If you looked at the buildings and grounds code, you'll see it says 99, that's the only one that's like kind of out of sequence,
right.
that's why.
So the 1,275 shows up just in capital projects, but you're saying if I look at the annual, it's either gonna be coming out of general support or out of undistributed?
Yes, correct. You'll see it on the appropriate status report, it's in the 9,000s at the bottom. I don't put it in with the 9,000s because you're talking about capital projects, it makes more sense to talk about with buildings and grounds.
So that it wouldn't really affect, number one, it wouldn't really affect general support.
It doesn't, except it's included when I do the presentation under the buildings and grounds, which is 1,000s.
Okay,
All right? I was just trying to clarify it for you.
thank you.
All right, so now I'm going to start turning it over. We're going to start with Joanna to talk about the elementary program highlights.
Wow, thank you. All right, thank you so much. I'm really happy to have this opportunity to talk about our elementary programs. There's a lot of information on that slide that's quite small, so I'll run through some of it for you. I appreciate Dr. Rivera, who's here as well, who could hop in at any moment if there's a question I can't answer. And I appreciate Dr. Sapienza also letting me have the opportunity to talk to you on behalf of all of us. So, the money here in Jericho that goes to elementary schools certainly supports a comprehensive, forward-thinking approach to elementary education. Our proposed budget continues to invest in programs that will spark curiosity, develop critical thinking, and nurture the whole child. We utilize an interdisciplinary approach. This has been a real focus, especially in the last couple of years, and working with our CAs as well, to learning and engaging children in experiences that transform abstract concepts into hands-on learning. Students are introduced to robotics within their science classrooms, but then take on coding as fifth graders. We are proud of our library media program, which is also further developed in the last number of years. Our specialists are creating environments that not only build a love of books, but an understanding of digital literacy and the development of a civic identity. We're committed to comprehensive literacy instruction that doesn't just teach reading, but creates independent and confident learners. This year, Foundations instruction expanded into 3rd grade, so we now have that in K, 1, 2, and 3, which helps to further develop our students' ability to decode, spell, and write. Math in Focus is the program at the core of our mathematics instruction, and we have extended that contract for 5 more years because we do see the amazing impact it has on our student learners. It supports our teachers in building a conceptual understanding of mathematics, and they have something called novel problems. So when your children were in elementary school, you probably caught that in the comments on the report card, that through novel problems and the gradual release model, students develop strong analytical skills and problem-solving skills. Technology, thanks to Patrick and his team, continues to enhance student learning. We have one-to-one devices for our students. Students access the programs throughout the day for a variety of reasons to hit upon all content areas, whether they are reinforcing skills, being enriched, or learning actually how to develop their research skills. We are also very proud of our world language program that starts in the elementary school. We have Spanish consistently from grade 1 through 5, with an opportunity for Mandarin enrichment in 1st grade and 4th grade, and an exploration of French and Italian in grade 5. That is certainly something when I talk to my colleagues across Long Island that they are pretty impressed by. So the study of language not only helps students to speak, it exposes them to different cultures and helps them to develop global perspectives. From the study of world languages to the development of musical skills, our students engage in art and physical education, and they're developing a rich, multifaceted educational environment that nurtures creativity, empathy, and intellectual growth. Further, we support our students' comprehensive development socially, emotionally, and academically through responsive classroom structures. We had all of our elementary teachers have gone through the first phase of responsive classroom training, which was pretty in-depth, and we, thanks to Dr. Sherman's support, are jumping on to the next level of training next year, so we're really excited about that. Also, and further with that, we do have leadership opportunities for our students in the elementary schools with safety patrol and our peer leaders. We engage them in field trips. We have extra special arts and education opportunities, often supported by Ruth as well. And through all these things, we really support a comprehensive program where we give our children the tools to become innovative, compassionate, and adaptable citizens. So we are really, really proud of our programs at the elementary school and really, really proud of our collaboration with our CAs and colleagues across the district. We have a lot to be proud of at the elementary level. So, any questions?
Now I will invite Chad and Sarah up to talk about middle school accomplishments. Okay.
Hi, good evening. So thank you again for the opportunity to present some highlights and accomplishments from the middle school program. I just want to say the accomplishments and highlights I'm going to talk about are only possible because of the community that exists in Jericho, from the support we get from the Board of Education, our central administration, and the really talented staff that we have here at the middle school. I also want to thank Dr. Rivera, Dr. Sapienza, and Ms. Kletter, and our elementary school faculty. Each year we're so impressed with the skills, the work ethic, and the kindness that our rising 5th graders have when they come to the building. So thank you for building that foundation for our students. Now, a few accomplishments of which we are very proud. U.S. News and World Reports ranked Jericho Middle School the #1 open enrollment middle school in the state again for the 4th consecutive year. There are a few city schools that are ranked higher, but those usually have barriers to entry based on grades and attendance. Of all the suburban districts that take all the kids inside the district, Jericho Middle School is #1. Last year, our students took their passion for history to new heights. We had 22 students recognized as earning top awards in the New York State Archives Student Research Competition. And we are also very proud to be redesignated as a school to watch by the National Forum to Accelerate Middle Grades Reform for the 5th time. So those are a few accomplishments. I'm going to talk a little bit about some programs at the middle school that have benefited our students over the last year. So the middle school continues to have a really wide variety of electives and dozens of clubs. These enrichment opportunities range from cooking electives to Lego robotics. Last week, our Math Counts Club took home the first place trophy in the statewide competition. There are 4 kids from New York State that are going to the national competition for math camps. 2 of them are from Jericho Middle School, so really impressive what our math camps. In terms of research, one of the things that we know about adolescent learners is that autonomy and choice are highly motivating, and research is a domain in which those things are inherent. So in 8th grade, students have an opportunity to participate in an after-school program called Explorations in Science Research. It gives students the opportunity to design experiments under the supervision of a science research teacher. This year, we added a math research club to our after-school offerings, and next year, we're looking forward to offering that as an elective class. All of our 7th and 8th grade students participate in a social science research project called National History Day. This year, the Lowell Milken Foundation recognized 4 Jericho Middle School students for their outstanding work on their History Day projects, including the top project in the country. Those 4 students were awarded over $3,000 in prize money, and our faculty, these high school and middle school social studies teachers, received the first ever Outstanding School Award from the Lowell Milken Foundation. A great credit for them. We are really proud of our world language program at the middle school. We have 4 languages: French, Chinese, Spanish, and Italian. Our world language program, which includes a club for each of those world languages, also provides students with an opportunity to gain fluency in new language, but also to explore cultures and diverse perspectives as well. Our performing arts program allows students to express themselves creatively through music and theater, whether it's participating in band, chorus, or theatrical productions. Students get the opportunity to develop confidence and teamwork. This year we added what we call a festival chorus. It's an after-school opportunity for kids to participate in chorus who during the day participate in band and orchestra, so they can do both band, orchestra, and chorus. This is also my chance to remind you to get your tickets to our play being performed Thursday and Friday next week, Jolly Roger and the Pirate Queen. Diversity Day is an annual celebration that highlights rich cultural backgrounds of our school community. Through student performances and a food exchange, students gain a greater appreciation for the different cultures that we have here. I want to thank our PTSA for organizing that outstanding food exchange that we had. We work really hard to reduce bullying at the middle school. I know that many of you have seen our Olveus kickoff event. You can't miss us in our bright yellow t-shirts walking around the track. There's also a group of students that get extra training. They become peer educators in bully prevention activities. They're called our Brave Ambassadors. Today our Brave Ambassadors visited Jackson Elementary School to work with some elementary students there. And I think we all know that success looks different for students in middle school as they grow and develop rapidly. And one of the ways that we honor their individual progress is through personal best initiatives. Right before spring break, we honor students doing their personal best with a personal best pep rally and some student-led learning opportunities. Finally, I just want to mention that field trips, incredibly important and memorable part of the middle school experience. Our 8th graders go overnight to Washington, D.C. Our 7th graders go to Philadelphia on an extended day trip. Dr. Sundberg just returned back about an hour ago from Philadelphia. I heard the highlights were George Washington's tent, Signers Hall, and the cheesesteaks. There are many other trips our kids engage in. They go to Broadway shows, ropes courses, and restaurants for world languages as well. I have the great pleasure of working with an exceptional leader and learner in the middle school, our assistant principal, Ms. Philippe.
Thanks, everybody. And just before I begin, I just want to say thank you to every single person in this room for the way that you support our school. And I want to acknowledge the work that, and the collaboration with the Curriculum Associates. Your contributions to the middle school are invaluable, and we really appreciate everything that you do for our students and our staff. This year we've continued our team-based scheduling. We have an amazing group of student team advisors who really serve as the bridge between the students, the families, the teachers, the guidance counselors, and the administrators, and they do a really wonderful job in creating a space where our children are truly known throughout the school. Our young Jayhawks have soared to their nest group 7 times so far this year, and we have 3 more to go. And the nest groups are really unique opportunities for approximately 15 students and 1 or 2 teachers to get involved in activities together and have deep discussions around our SEL themes of the month. For example, friendship or courage, cooperation, goal setting, and it's been a really nice way to form community in the school. We also worked with our teachers to find some community norms so that the students are experiencing NEST in a more consistent way throughout the school. We also had our shared decision committee, and our student team advisors look at the SEL themes and make sure that they align with what our students in our school want to be focusing on. A key instructional goal for Mr. Gleason this year is to really fully cultivate those learning walks that allow teachers to open up their classrooms to highlight their highly effective practices for other teachers to go in and learn from one another and see some other strategies. And we take teams of teachers around, and then afterwards we have a reflection so that they can dive a little bit deeper into what they're witnessing in the classrooms. So we were really excited this winter. We had a team of administrators from across Nassau County come in, even our neighbors at Syosset and East Williston and Manhasset, and they came in and they engaged in these learning walks with us, and they were just amazed at the warm and rigorous environments that have been created by these teachers and just how brave and open our teachers are to welcoming people into the classrooms. So it's really nice to have that acknowledged by them as well. Additionally, we still have our brunch and learn sessions, which is a space for our adults to continue their learning. We've really been focusing on the AI component, the Chat for Schools, Brisk, and just as these platforms continue to evolve, how we need to evolve with them. And just a huge thank you to our technology department who is there with us as the students are learning the AI and we're learning it. It's a very humbling and very exciting time to be focusing on the same things that the students are. Our literacy leaders are just continuing to promote all of the reading across the school. We had our World Read Aloud Day. They choose novels for the library, and even just last week we had a parent, staff, student book club around the novel Restart, which is from a local author named Gordon Corman, and it fully aligns with our Alveus theme for anti-bullying. And thank you again to the PTSA. Last week, Gordon Corman served as a speaker in our school, and it really was a wonderful way for the students to see how someone locally is so invested in their communities. And our commitment to education and the ability for all learners to get what they need is the heart of everything that we do in Jericho. Our response to intervention, our collaborative classes, our small group classes, our robust E&L program is a way for our students to get all of the support that they need. And our flexible scheduling allows students to go in and out of the classes as they need it, as needed. And again, we appreciate the support of the CAs in how they design their different content area courses to support the students. And finally, we continue to work with the students on their digital citizenship. We use common sense media lessons throughout the school to really focus on digital citizenship, the mindful use of technology, and also how to make sure that they're making good decisions in and out of school in a balanced way. We know that they have everything at their fingertips. We want to be able to celebrate that, but we also want to remind them of the responsibilities that they have.
Before you go off this, the digital citizenship, is that done in a specific class? Is it done across classes? Who's responsible for that?
So the student team advisors meet with Mr. Gleason and I, and they often will rotate it. On there, say if they have the team of 4 core teachers, maybe in the fall they'll do it once in social studies with their team, and then in the late winter they'll do it in English, and in math they decide it as a team, but they cover the same lessons.
So it's sort of 3 or 4 lessons during the school year.
And just finally, all of the amazing work that is done in our school, all of these things, we could attach so many names of teachers and staff members who are so invested and dedicated to the students of Jericho, and they know middle school life in ways that other people will never be able to understand, and we just want to say a huge thank you to all of the teachers and the staff for their commitment to Jericho Middle School. And
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Chad. And now I'm going to introduce Ruth to talk about the Fine and Performing Arts Department.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you so much for this opportunity. I want to start by saying Happy March. Usually we say March comes in like a lion, but this year it came in like a wildcat. So I want to start, yes, exactly, got the joke. I wanted to say a really heartfelt shout out to the team under Beth Owen's leadership, our director of the High School Musical, for leading an enormous, successful production of Disney's High School Musical. Yeah. This production took place on the main stage in the auditorium for the very first time, and it was a true example of collaboration, embracing every element of the arts, from costumes to scenery to choreography, acting, singing, dancing, the pit orchestra, the audio-visual effects. We had record ticket sales, and the sense of unity and pride was inspiring. The phrase, "we're all in this together," was never more real. So we hope you are as proud as we are, and we thank all who promoted the show, and we couldn't have done it without you. So thank you. Also in March, it's Music in Our Schools Month, and it is Youth Art Month. So we've been really excited about all of the things happening in the department, and tonight I'm thrilled to shine a spotlight on all of those things. I'd like to begin with our facilities this year. We've made important upgrades to our facilities. This year we opened the doors to the newly renovated middle and high school band room, a beautiful functional space designed to support students. In the storage area, we added ventilated lockers to keep instruments safe and a sink to promote cleanliness. Our new library storage system for printed scores has replaced outdated metal file cabinets, creating a permanent organized home for our extensive music collection. Looking ahead, we're excited about the renovations for the auditorium at Jackson. Our instructional software is also something to highlight. Our K-8 music and art teachers have been inspired and trained for implementing new instructional software that enhances the learning experience. Quaver Music and the Art of Education University have sparked creativity and new teaching approaches, helping us engage students in fresh and meaningful ways. We thank Patrick and the IT department for all their support. Spotlights on music now. Our music students continue to shine on local, county, and state stages. This year, we exceeded previous participation numbers in all of these events. We just had, for the first time, 2 students selected for the NYSBTA Honors Band in Syracuse. Congratulations to Brian Zhao and Michael Zhao. We want to thank Castell and the transportation team for getting us to all of our destinations this year. From K-12, our students are actively participating in NYSBTA Solo and Ensemble festivals, with guidance of our talented teachers, qualifying them for selections and honors level ensembles. Our 8th grade groups will be competing in Music in the Parks again this year, and that will take place in May. And our high school ensembles performed on the global stage in Disney World. This was an incredible experience that you're going to hear lots more about next week. Our music department annually hosts the NMEA Division I East All-County Rehearsals at Kaniak. Special shout out to Kaniak, thank you. That took place in January. And the NYSBTA Piano Festival is this very weekend, starting tomorrow. Thank you to Mike Hahn, grounds crew, custodian, security, for supporting all of these efforts. On the horizon, we are working on a possible spring district-wide 5th grade instrumental day. This is something that we would really love to do. It'll help the students meet each other and greet each other before they come to the middle school. I know that Mr. Gleason already talked a little bit about our festival chorus. They made their big debut at the Pops concert, and we were so proud of them. Moving into the world of art. The visual arts, we've introduced exciting new programs and opportunities. At the high school, we are exploring the possibility of adding a new analog photography course to our offerings. The high school students discovered the world of astrophotography on their evening field trip to the beach with Mr. Simonelli. This type of activity is just one of the examples of the multidisciplinary content that is provided in our classes. The elementary students participated in many local art poster contests, but our favorite activities are partnering with our incredible PTA and SEPTA with reflections and cookies and canvas. So thank you, parents, for doing that with us. I'd like to talk a little bit about interdisciplinary learning while I have your attention. It's something that occurs in all of our music and art classes as we connect art and music with other content areas, like ELA, and science, and history. This year, during Hispanic Heritage Month, we connected world languages and visual art with the study of Frida Kahlo, bringing an assembly titled The Colors of Frida. For Black History Month, we had student assembly by the high school jazz band in collaboration with Jericho United, recognizing the contributions of the late poet Nikki Giovanni and the 75th birthday of Stevie Wonder. We heard lots of great music that day. We also had a laser light show assembly by Prismatic Magic for grades K through 6. Another example of interdisciplinary learning is our Art Venture Campus. That's happening this May. It'll be the 3rd year, and that's when we connect art with nature. Under the direction of our art teachers, we have our elementary students join us with their parents. It's kind of a family day, and they make art with nature. But this year, we have an out-of-this-world theme. You guessed it, space. Yeah, I knew you would. And tonight is the red moon, right? The blood moon. Moving into theater, theater arts are gaining popularity. Interest in drama and musical theater has grown tremendously. Our middle and high school productions have seen record participation, and we're excited to share that 2 of our high school students, Shuban and Zoya, have advanced in the Roger Rees Musical Theater Competition for their roles as Troy and Gabriella. Congratulations to them both. This year, high school students also participated in Stage the Change, which is a trip to LIU Post for the very first time. And the middle school drama production is this weekend, as Mr. Gleason said. I could have crossed out some of these things, right? Our students' talent is also being recognized beyond the district. This past weekend, 27 students had their artwork displayed at the All-County Art Supervisors Association art exhibit, and that took place at Herrick's High School. One of our seniors was given the scholarship of $250, and her name is Ashlyn Fitterborton. So congrats to Ashlyn. We had 3 scholar artists recognized this year for their achievements in theater, media, and visual arts. They are Danny Pressman, Ashlyn Fitterborton, and Adeline Joan. Also beyond the school year, spotlight on the summer music program. So this year, we will be running our 3rd year of the program. It provides students in grades 5 through 8 with opportunities to develop their music skills while building friendships and confidence, their music skills. And over 30 high school students will mentor in that program, guiding and motivating their young friends. And impressively, they know every participant's name. Registration opened this week, and the program will take place at the Ratner Seaman School. So, the music students, art students, and theater students play a vital role in shaping the future of our programs. Their input and interests help us continue to grow, ensuring that we are meeting their needs and inspiring their futures. This March, at the end of March, hopefully it goes out like a lamb, on March 25th, we will have, for the first time, a combined Arts Department Honor Society induction ceremony, where national music, thespian, and art groups will celebrate this distinction together as one family. Jericho's fine and performing art programs are celebrating traditions all the time, and many for the first time. And it's thanks to an unwavering support of the entire Jericho community. Believing in the value of the arts education empowers our teachers and our students to reach new heights. I'd like to take this opportunity to say thank you to my friends, the CAs, building leaders, central administration for always embracing ideas and applauding our achievements and making us shine everywhere we go. So who's coming to Disney in 2027? Oh, we're looking forward to sharing even more incredible classroom accomplishments, performances, trips, and creative achievements with you in the future. Please let me know if you have any questions about our programs.
Incredible job, we thank you. Thank you. Now I'm going to introduce Brian, Michaela, and Dave to talk about the accomplishments and highlights of the high school.
Good evening, everybody, and thank you for the opportunity to speak to you about the incredible accomplishments and offerings that we have in the high school. I'm going to start the presentation talking a little bit about the offerings on the academic end, and then Dr. Finley and Mr. Mez will round out those discussions with some of the way we support the entire child in the high school. So obviously, a part of the high school are the academic offerings that we offer, and we offer 27 AP courses and 37 college level classes throughout all the different disciplines. This gives students an opportunity to challenge their learning and to push themselves to any area of interest in math, science, social studies, English, and the arts, and offer many different subjects. Another thing we're very proud of in the high school is that we have a 4-year sequence for opportunity to do research in math, science, and social science, giving students an opportunity to explore, again, their interests. In the world languages, we offered 5 languages this year. In the technology education department, we have a variety of offerings of engineering through our Project Lead the Way program, along with our video production and robotics program. As we explore each different discipline, we see that not only do we have an incredible depth, but breadth of offerings to not only give our students an opportunity to explore what they're interested in, but explore it in great detail. In our business world, we have accounting and entrepreneurship and many different offerings, real estate and classes like that to let them explore those ideas. In ELA, we offer a new class this year called The Pursuit of Happiness, and we offer classes like creative writing and new media communications and broadcasting. In the culinary arts and agriculture, we offer different courses for students to cook and explore the science and business of food. Ruth obviously did a beautiful job talking about different opportunities in music and art. And one of the things that's really impressive in our physical education department, we don't just offer physical education classes in a whole group setting, but that we also offer a lot of different classes that give students an opportunity to explore their interests like yoga, dance, aquatics, judo, and sports medicine. This year, we're in the process of creating the schedule for next year, and students had the opportunity to try a couple select from classes that we had never offered before, at least had never run before. For example, we're optimistic that some of these courses will run next year: Science in Action, Mathematics Research, Fit Body Mind, Analog Film Photography, to name a few. Okay? Dr. Finley is going to jump in and continue the conversation about the way we educate our whole student.
Hi, good evening. Thank you so much for the opportunity to present. And as I present to you, I will say a lot of we, and by we I mean our curriculum associate and administrative colleagues, along with our teachers at the high school. So we are proud to continue to offer students opportunities to be leaders in our school and many opportunities for student voice. I want to highlight some new opportunities this year. The JNN, the Jericho News Network, has taken off. So far, the students have offered 2 episodes that have been played throughout the school. And they capture a lot of different aspects of school, pop culture. It is created and produced by the students. It's been really cool to see. We've seen social media certainly help our clubs advertise for membership, promote events, and our student ambassadors, something new they did this year is they created survival kits for high schoolers, and they handed them out to all of our incoming 9th graders at orientation, as well as our new teachers, because coming to Jericho can be quite an experience. So that is just some of the new stuff that we were able to offer this year and we're excited about. You've heard from my colleagues about new teams. Mr. Mankiewicz, I'm sure, spoke to flag football. We're excited to offer as a new opportunity. Extracurricularly, you've heard from Ruth that the musical sold over 1,000 tickets and it continues to grow. And something I just want to highlight tonight, our students continue to hit the ground running when it comes to fundraising. So not just being leaders within our building, but also the local community. Just tonight, Blue Key raised $3,000 for Sunrise Day Camp by hosting a 3v3 basketball tournament. So that is something that hasn't been done before, and I'm always proud to shout people out, but truly this stuff happens every day in different ways. So kudos to our colleagues, our teachers, and kudos to our students.
Before you go, Ms. Phillips.
Oh, yes.
The JNN, is that available anywhere? Do we put that on our website, on the district website, or is that not something that would be appropriate on there?
The Jer Echo might have an arm of the JNN, I can check for you, but that's a great idea.
Thank you, Dr. Finley. Today I'm going to be talking about how we support our students in our building. It's a team approach. We really do lean on our curriculum associates to bring things together for us. We want to thank you again for all that you do to support our students. With regards to our wellness programs, we have JMAC, which is a student mindfulness coalition. Our next periods are facilitated through our classrooms with a focus on student wellness and taking a break from academic rigor. We have our Cafe 126, which is a great place for our students to decompress during their free periods and their lunch. Our Jericho Academy, we lead on that to support our students' academic needs as needed. This year, we're actually really excited through our partnership with Northwell Health. We're hosting, or they are hosting, an assembly for our students entitled Coping with School-Related Stress. It's a great opportunity for our students to learn some coping skills, and we're really excited to see that take off. And then can't forget the amazing team we have in People Personnel Services. We have 7 counselors that are there every day to support our students and our families navigate the college application process and career exploration. We also have 2 phenomenal school psychologists and a social worker who are there every day to support our students with all their needs and to provide support to our students as needed. And Mr. Cummings will take it on from here.
The data you're looking at on the top is from last year's graduating class. Every year I look at some of this data and I am blown away and so impressed with some of the statistics come out of our school system. This doesn't happen in the high school. This happens over 13 years of enriched education, starting in kindergarten all the way through the high school. We get to brag about it, but it is a full team from Board of Education, Central Administration, to the building principals and the curriculum associates, and our incredible teachers that bring us to a 99% graduation rate. Just to highlight a couple of the statistics, 98% of our students attended college this year as we speak from last year's graduating class. We had 39 National Merit Scholars and 24 made National Merit Finals and 4 were National Merit winners. You can look at some of the AP results and statistics that we have up there. You may have read about it. We were highlighted in Newsday this week in Newsday.com. We were one of 3 schools that received platinum standing, and that's a really nice accomplishment because it's not only about the number of students that took AP exams, but it's success that they had on those exams of getting at least a 3 or better. We had 2 Regeneron Scholars and 1 Regeneron finalist, and as Mr. Mankiewicz loves to brag about, every single year we have 20 consecutive years, the only school in New York State that has been a New York School of Distinction Award in the physical education. Throughout the year, you've heard from principals and curriculum associates talk about the different competitions that we've participated in, and this is always a great opportunity for our students to shine and explore and try opportunities of competing against other students. A couple of highlights that have come up very recently, because a lot of these you've heard about throughout the year. LISEF occurred today, and we had 2 students qualify to participate in the International Science and Engineering Fair. Our Science Olympiad team very recently just qualified for the state tournament. And we have students participating in piano this one today and tomorrow and Friday. So as we continue throughout the year, we're going to see our students shine as we always do. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you, good job. And I do want to take this opportunity to thank all of the administrators for being such an integral part of the budget process and speaking in such great detail of all of your programs, your buildings, and kind of tying it all together to show the community what their money is being spent on. So thank you so much for all of your hard work. Next week is no more presentations, but it's the adoption of the budget by the Board of Ed. And that'll lead us to, I believe it's May 20th is the budget vote this year. So thank you very much, everyone. If there's any final questions, if not, we will end right here. Thank you.
Good night, everybody. Thank you. Great job.
Thank you, guys.